Hello and welcome everyone to another chess lecture brought to you, brought to you by Chess.com and FM Daniel Rensch. Today what we are going to be doing is continuing our discoveries and continuing our journey on the road of principle of two weaknesses. We're getting toward the end here in terms of covering all the different fundamental ideas, all the different psychological points, all the different just really good practical approaches to have in your game and in your mindset when you're trying to convert small advantages, which is kind of what the whole theme is. When you're talking about principle of two weaknesses, you're talking about positions where, you know, as you see on the board here, positions where you have an advantage, but it's not so easy, whether it be because your opponent has a nice blockade, which we've seen in some of the videos, or here you see because maybe your opponent has a decent amount of counterplay. Obviously, having the A-pawn is a very strong asset, but if you're only relying on the A-pawn, it may not be good enough. For a few reasons. One being maybe his rook can hold just by simply coming back behind the pawn. Also, you have to make sure that when it comes to a race position, that you can afford to lose your H3 pawn, and that your A-pawn will indeed be quicker than his pawn. So these are all little factors we're taking in when looking at this position. And we're calling this particular video lecture Advanced Execution, and that's because what we're trying to show is that the second weakness can be a number of things. When we started out, we were talking very simply in terms of, okay, here's one major obvious advantage, and, you know, here's an obvious advantage over here. Now let's just convert it. And then it got a little bit more difficult, which was, okay, we have a huge obvious advantage, but there's a blockade, and so we have to at least create some targets or create some threats so that the blockade is broken down, and then we can execute. But as the positions go on, it gets trickier and trickier, and so here we're seeing a position where you have an advantage, obviously, in the A-pawn. However, the A-pawn alone may not be good enough for the reasons I just pointed out, either the H-pawn being taken or the A-pawn being stopped by the rook coming behind it. And also, just it's not even so easy to find a second weakness. What is interesting to note is if we were to, let's say, make some random move here, I just want to talk about the position. If this black rook was over in front of the pawn, black would be at a disadvantage not only because his rook isn't as active, but because without the threats of counterplay, white is free to do as he pleases, whether that be choosing over here and try to create a second weakness, or easily win that second pawn. And so even if black ends up losing this game, I think black took the right approach in trying to bring his rook back behind to attack the H3 pawn or create his toughest defense possible, which is typically with the rook behind the pawn. So that's just good to note that I think black did choose the right approach. Now, already we're in a position where I would suggest you maybe take a moment to think about what white should play here. I'll try to make a move here to just kind of reset, refresh things here. So why don't you think about what's going on here and see if you can tell me what white should do to get this party started.
We hope you enjoyed this video demo from Chess.com. Subscribe today to finish this video and get unlimited access to our full video library. Your membership also includes access to Chess Mentor, the most advanced interactive training tool available anywhere. You'll also get full access to the Opening Explorer, Tactics Trainer, and much, much more. So sign up today and get serious about improving your game.